how the karma deal works.
In this case, I kind of like this as an idea narratively, even if you want to do a slight rewrite to where after Kaguya snuck Ishiki and he's like on the verge of death, if he had the choice between different people and he chose the weakest human in his eyes, Jigen the monk, as opposed to, I don't know, Scoffleoff the warrior, who has the 8 gates technique.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he's choosing Jigen because he's
was
the
a
weakest.
novice monk.
But here's the rewrite. I'm changing it to where Jigen in this case just is like an expert monk. He is physically weak, but in this case, Jigen, we're just gonna have him be tremendously mental soul energy strong because he's a skilled monk. And so this is Ishiki's irony because he's underestimating humanity. It isn't just the physical strength that matters, the inferior creature aspect of it. Humanity has humanity as its own power as well. And that's Jigen's
if you're gonna go
Ishiki's
this
downfall.
route, I would have the Jigen stuff apply throughout the whole arc though, not just when Ishiki resurrects.
Yeah, it already
I would
slightly
plant these seeds
is.
earlier on.
No, I agree. We would incorporate
With the
this.
crying scene.
Exactly,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So just especially once Ishiki transforms. In fact, have it be a thing to where Jigen's karma just wasn't at 100% yet, and it just turned to 100% in that Koji fight. So then it just automatically happened then. I think that could work. Because in this case...
Well, what's the reason for doing that?
The reason for doing this is to say that we don't know or think or care that Jigen's body is inadequate. He's not waiting and using him as like a last resort ditch effort. He's doing it, and this is like the worst case scenario. Oh my god, Ishiki's back. Oh wait, Jigen's fighting against him even now. Wow, this is incredible. And that's where we get the reveal that like Ishiki only has 3 days because of Jigen. Rather than it just being an inadequate vessel situation that he knew the whole time, and the audience as well. We just thought it was terrible, and then it's revealed that Jigen is doing something. Almost like Jiraiya versus Urashiki, to where it's revealed like halfway through after the fact that Jiraiya was poisoning Urashiki the whole time. And it's because of this circumstance, opportunity that was created that they're able to fight back at all.
Well, I agree with what you're saying, but my question is, why does the whole 99% thing matter in this case? You can just do this regardless, if even he's at 100%.
Well, my point is that he can't transform into Jigen's body until the Karma Soul hits 100%.
Yeah, but if he's at 100%, he can just wait like he does originally. So I don't think it matters.
I'm saying that he wouldn't wait.
Why? Why wouldn't Ishiki wait?
Because in this case, if there isn't like
a weak vessel or whatever.
Yeah, like he wouldn't really care. Like maybe he wants Kawaki for other reasons.
But if that's the case, why is he bothering with Kawaki in the first place?
Well, for 2 reasons. First of all, Kawaki could be a contingency. You might as well just have as many karmas around as possible. In the same way Orochimaru has this consciousness everywhere, just as a contingency. But then the real plot reason, the direct reason,
that reduces
it's the fact that he wants to feed Jigen's body to the Tin Tail, so he needs karma on some other vessel anyways.
Okay, but why does he want to feed Jigen versus feeding Kawaki?
In this case, it doesn't matter. But either way, the karma would have to hit 100%. It would just be that Jigen's karma is further along than Kawaki's. And so he wants to feed the Tin Tails as soon as possible. He'll just feed Jigen's body as soon as it hits 100%. And then he'll just resurrect in Kawaki's body whenever that hits 100%.
I don't like that as much. I prefer that like Kawaki is his primary vessel target. So like for example, like in the sense that like I know this isn't exactly the same, but like Orochimaru's got curse marks on other people, and realistically speaking, any of the Sound Fork could have been its vessel. um, I'm sure they would have been strong enough to be a vessel for Orochimaru. They had the curse mark. Freaking the two people Orochimaru took over don't even have a curse mark. Sure, Sakon and Ukon could have worked if he wanted to, but like Sasuke's his target.
Yeah.
That's the one he really wants. So regardless of why, maybe Jigen's a fine vessel, but like Kawaki just has something and special that
Yeah, that's fine
I
as
don't
well.
want to say because of Amato's enhancements, because technically he could just do that to Jigen. So maybe there's just something about Kawaki. Maybe if you want to implement the wavelength thing, when they're on the same wavelength, something major happens, they evolve more or something. I don't care. The point is, I think he should specifically want Kawaki. I think that
Playing
just makes it more threatening. It's like, Kawaki's in danger. That's his target. You know what I'm saying?
I got something for you. It could also be a thing that playing with Two Blue Vortex, what we have now, it could seamlessly tie into it to where it's revealed that Jigen is one of the people that was fed Shibai cells but didn't manifest a Shinjutsu, unlike Kawaki, who did.
Okay, that I would be okay. I like that idea. If I mean, honestly, just theorize. Well, Kawaki didn't manifest a Shinjutsu from Shibai cells. I think that's Ben. I mean, unless Samato's just hiding it and Koji's hiding it too. Implied that even if Kawaki's got something like his ninja tech hands and shit, that's I guess just not a Shinjutsu. But
I got something for you.
if we just rewrite it to where it is Shinjutsu,
Yeah.
there you go. I like
So,
that idea.
I got something for you. So what if we have two halves of something that's required? Almost like my Minato flying Raijin Genma Raido interpretation of that they have like half of the Coke formula of Coca-Cola. So in this case,
Yeah. They each have a third of the jutsu.
the Shinjutsu of Shinjutsu omnipotence. So what if this is weird, but just hear me out. Let's just go with it for the rewrite. I don't care how you get here, but Kawaki manifests the ability but can't use it because he's not Otsutsuki. And Ada just doesn't have it, but she just is genetically Otsutsuki. So it's through Ada that Kawaki can activate it. But Kawaki can't activate it on his own, and Ada can't activate it on his own.
Okay, real quick. Is this meant to tie into this Jigen Ishiki stuff, or is this a new thing? Because at first glance, it seems like a completely different thing. But,
Well, it ties in through the fact
yeah.
that if Ishiki transforms himself into Kawaki's body, then he would be Otsutsuki, and then he also would have omnipotence because Kawaki's body has omnipotence.
Oh,
We would
okay,
just give him
that's why I was trying to figure that out. Yeah, so because what I was gonna say is, if anything, in the current story, I think it would be backwards to where Ada has the ability, but she's not a Suzuki.
Yeah.
Kawaki's a Suzuki, but not the ability. So
Yeah,
only
exactly.
together can they use it. But in this
You'd have
case,
to
it's the
reverse it.
reverse.
Yeah.
Uh, um, well, you don't really. Okay, I see what you're saying in the sense of like trying to keep it so that Ada has it. I think something we. I don't think you need to necessarily do that. But it's just playing it to Ishiki mythology stuff. What you could maybe do is I realize that this kind of sounds like omnipotence anyway,
The
but
wish
just
granting.
ignore that for a minute. The whole wish granting
Oh,
thing,
God.
maybe Kawaki like had the latent potential for the ability, whereas Jigen got something else that's needed for the ability, maybe the Suzuki-ness, I don't know, whatever it is. And so Jigen can't do it. But if Ishiki, karmifies Kawaki, then he'll be fine anyway.
That
Or
could work.
Jigen can just not have the other half. He can just like not have it. Kawaki does, but
Yeah.
Kawaki can't use it unless he's a Suzuki. So obviously Ishiki's like, yeah, once I take over him, I'll be good, kind of thing.
Okay. Something I want to add to
Which is
this.
a small another side note, bro. Small another side note. It's implied. See, this doesn't make sense to me. Like it does, but it doesn't, because I hate the karma still sometimes, man. Because rather than describing it as the karma overlays the user, and so you get both. Like that's Amato explains, Shibai's godhood evolution, and it's not just the chakra fruits. karmic resurrection was another thing he brings up. And that seems to imply that, like, if Ishiki takes over Kawaki's body, for example, Ishiki would seemingly get the ninja tech arms and healing and all that stuff Kawaki has. That just seems to be what they're implying, because otherwise it wouldn't matter if you resurrecting karma. But the way it's described is you overwrite Kawaki and erase Kawaki in place of Ishiki, meaning Ishiki shouldn't get any of Kawaki's stuff. So how would karma resurrection further your evolution at all?
Exactly.
Doesn't make sense. Like, I don't like the way they did it. It makes so much more sense to just say it overlays, bro. Because that's what it fucking does. They ruined the explanation.
I want to say that this rewrite also addresses something that's already been in the story. I'm not going to use the word recontextualization, but it's along the same lines. Almost like solving a, not mystery, but like adding more there, which it just makes it better in retrospect. So we know that Jigen has his training method for Kawaki. He just like abuses him or whatever to make him more powerful. What if this can tie into Jigen trying to manifest either one or just multiple Shinjutsus in Kawaki? That could be the reason. Because otherwise, why would he care? Especially with this rewrite, that it is just straight up, it is just overriding his body as it's described anyways. It doesn't matter how weak or strong Kawaki is. He's just going to be as strong as Ishiki was when he implemented the karma.
You know, it's also weird. Yeah, I mean, I'll say two things. One, it seems like Jigen's just trying to get the karma to extract faster. If I had to guess, that's actually what he's trying to do by getting Kawaki to use it and stuff. Because otherwise, it makes no sense. Like, what does it matter if Kawaki can use the karma? Who gives a shit?
It could also be the same wavelength.
But if he's trying to make it extract faster, okay, that makes sense. All you have to do is just have Jigen, like, say it or think it or at any point indicate that this will make it extract faster or something, so that way you know that's what's going on. But I like the Shinjutsu angle to where he wants Kawaki to unlock a Shinjutsu, especially when you consider the fact that Kashikoji awakened it in a near-death situation.
Oh, dude, I didn't even think about that. That worked so well. I was just thinking like a strength thing.
That is just something that can, like, maybe near-death situations do help trigger it. Maybe it's not guaranteed, but maybe Ishiki's trying to force it by putting Kawaki in these near-death situations.
Oh, that works
it's almost
too
like
well.
what Jiraiya did with Naruto to summon Yamabuta,
Yeah.
where it's like, it seems like he
so
ain't gonna
good.
do this shit unless he's about to die. So it's almost like
I'm
that
down.
idea, where it's like, bro, manifest your Shinjutsu already.
I'm
Dude,
so
that
down
would be
for
really
this.
cool. That would make a whole lot of fucking sense from every angle. The mottos reconstruct karma. Like, Kawaki could just awaken the Shinjutsu in the code arc. Finally, the eye, and then Amado's karma, whatever. So they're like two separate things almost.
Oh, am I not being heard? I'm probably not. Oh, am I being heard?
I hear you now.
Okay, yeah, no,
Now
my
I hear
Wi-Fi
you.
cut out. I saved it. I think stream is good. Yeah, it looks like it's good. But yeah, you were gone for like a minute. Well, I was gone for like I didn't hear you for like a minute of the past thing you were saying. Basically everything you were saying after I have a rewrite for you. But I before you restate that rewrite, I wanted to add on the fact that I just want to add on for the haters that narratively in the story, it's great. It makes perfect sense. I love the, well, I don't love it, but like, it's great. Okay. It's narratively significant that Jigen, like parent to child, is abusing Kawaki as his training method to make Kawaki stronger, whereas Naruto is using loving parenting styles, ninjutsu training, hand-to-hand combat, and that is the narrative thing that is also good for it's the perfect contrast juxtaposition. So narratively in the story, it's fine. In the plot, in universe, that's where we have issues because it makes no sense.
Yeah, honestly, it's a very quick pause. In all honesty, when it comes to Boruto as a series, its biggest struggle is thoroughly intertwining the plot and the story. At various points, there's times where you're like, narratively, hallelujah. But plot, what the fuck are
Yeah.
what? And then there's other times where it's like, that's an interesting plot. What is the story?
Mhm.
And that's the main, and honestly, that's really why we've gotten upset with Two Blue Vortex at times, because we've been going back and forth between those two things. And a lot of it is really simple stuff. It's like they're so close, but when they don't get there, then it's like, oh yeah, it's stupid. In connecting plot and story is a lot more important than you might think. Obviously, the story is the most important, but, and I've heard this a lot with like Daigo Knight videos and stuff, if these little plot things break your immersion too much, then you lose investment in that story. That's why you don't want that. Now, obviously, sometimes, you know, it's just us being super mega fans and nitpicking, but like, it's still a true point in general. Anyway, as far as the thing I was saying, I don't know where you cut out, but I'll just kind of backtrack a little bit. So, because Kashi and Koji awakens his Shinjutsu near death, maybe near death situations are necessary or they help or whatever. So Jigen's just trying to force it out of Kawaki or whatever. And maybe it speeds up the extraction of karma too. Why not have both? Now, what they say? Oh, yeah. So I said this was kind of goofy as an idea, but to some extent, it could just like be funny. It's almost like ironic. Honestly, it's almost like the perfect irony, actually. So what if the Shinjutsu Kawaki actually awakens eventually is Ishiki's eye? Because Shibai seemingly has it anyway in that image we saw of him. He's got the one triangle. So it is weird how Kawaki never gets the eye at any point, that he just magically has it out of nowhere with the Mado's reconstructed karma. Why does he awaken it now out of nowhere? He can use it in base without karma. Why isn't he supposed to be getting it from Ishiki's karma? Blah, blah, blah. So what if they're just two separate things? And it's ironic because Ishiki tried so hard, and I got another thing. I have another idea for the manifestation of the Shinjutsu. But Ishiki tried so hard. The time it actually manifests is when Kawaki wants to save Naruto, though. It's almost like the perfect irony. And maybe what really manifests the Shinjutsu, this doesn't work with what we got from Gashi Goji, mind you, but maybe if it had to do with like strong desires, like the desire to have the power to do something. So in Aya's case, if she strongly desires love, boom, she awakens omnipotence. I don't know, David. Okay, I don't know what David's desire is going to be, but
this works for the original way with Koji anyways. They just broke the interpretation. Koji's strong desire to break his destiny.
Exactly, and that's why that would work so well with Koji's future sight thing, because it's almost like the future sight just proves to Koji that like destiny's in his own hands. Like, yeah, I can do this. I'm not destined to die. And so if you just, again, this is a rewrite anyway. So Koji's desire to prove Ishiki wrong, forge his own destiny, he awakens the seeing destiny Shinjutsu. I think that'd be really good. And like I said, with Kawaki, it seems almost stupid, but I love the irony of Kawaki awakening Ishiki Shinjutsu anyway, just because it's like almost the biggest F you to Ishiki in a sense. Because he tried so hard to manifest it, and then Kawaki just manifested it anyway.
Yeah, bro, I'm totally down for that. In fact, okay. Hear me out. Whereas it's cool that Kawaki gets back his karma seal and the way he gets it back through Amado or whatever in the code arc, with the way the direction the story has gone anyways, just take that away entirely and just replace it with the Shibai cell explanation. He didn't get a karma seal back. That wasn't a thing at all. He just did have his Shibai cells awaken a Shinjutsu in that moment, in his base. And he just doesn't have karma even now, maybe. Maybe you could write it in at this point, but like you get the point. In the code arc, he only awakens the Shinjutsu to Shibai cells.
It absolutely, especially if like that damp anyway, that absolutely could work. I don't inherently dislike it. Then, like you already mentioned, the Amato manipulation to get him the karma back thing is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
I love the Amato. So, and it's... Oh, granted though, I do think it's slightly cooler, especially with the mystery of how Amato did this. I think it's slightly cooler with karma. But what you could do though is maybe Amato better understands how to manifest a Shinjutsu than Ishiki, and he didn't
Mm,
want to reveal that till Ishiki was dead. And so maybe Amato's
yeah.
almost trying to make Kawaki manifest the Shinjutsu too. Because
And I like
okay,
this
in this
better.
case, we have to rewrite the eye a little bit to just explain how it affects his plans at all. But
Mhm.
the point is he wants Kawaki to awaken it, and that's just somehow gonna integrate into his plan with his daughter and whatever else he's gonna do.
Yeah. Because whether he awakens Ishiki's eye, which is the wish granting mallet, or if he awakens omnipotence or whatever, either way, I would just prefer if that is Amato's explanation of how he wants Kawaki to bring back Akabi rather than the karma. That just makes more sense to me
You know what's
inherently.
another thing though?
Yeah.
I mean, another thing too though is
New direction
they could
starting to
just
go
do
on there.
both separately.
Yeah.
Like like because you know that Kawaki is behind Boruto right now. He's probably gonna seek some power up to catch up at some point, and Amano could just make the reconstructed karma all the same anyway. Like, just be like he could literally just have the same line
You know what?
about
If
you
anything,
know,
Kawaki should just actually
like
have
you
a
can just
white karma seal. It would actually look cool as well, especially when fighting against Boruto, who has the black karma. In fact, maybe Boruto should
as long
be
as he
white
gets
as
to
well now.
manifest his horn still,
Yeah,
that's
that's
my
fine.
only
That's fine.
requirement. I
Yeah,
want the
of
horn,
course.
but then I want an explanation for why Code doesn't have a horn.
Well, because Code never had the point of the black karma is that it's extracting, and they're turning genetically into Otsutsuki, which is how they manifest the horn when they use the karma. And so, because Code never had that, he just stays at 0% extracted. He's stuck at
Yeah.
stage 1 of the karma seal, unlike Kawaki, who can just use stage 2 whenever he wants because he is, let's just say, 80% Otsutsuki.
Yeah. The other thing though is apparently there's DNA in that karma. I don't know, it's weird, but
Exactly.
I don't know what's up with Kawaki's karma.
Yeah, I just
But that's
like
another
the
topic
Shibai
for
styles
another
because
day.
it's a new direction instead of relying on the same old of the karma seal for just every explanation. It's just the way out of every problem now, apparently. Randomly.
I don't know. At the very least, I think you could just implement both anyway if
Yeah.
you wanted. But I like the idea of the manifesting Shinjutsu thing
hmm
with Kawaki's desire in that moment. And in this case, he doesn't absorb the Rasengan, he just shrinks it, which
For me,
fundamentally does the same thing.
yeah, for me, the big thing would be losing Kawaki. And again, you wouldn't lose it if you just implement him having the karma anyways later. But I don't like the idea of losing Kawaki thinking, oh man, I used to hate the karma seal, but it turns out it wasn't the karma seal at all. I actually need it, I realized.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would need the karma seal for him to think that, so.
Hmm.
And then it also, if you do move it later, even if you did move it later, it sort of takes away from it anyways, because that's like the whole point of Kawaki's training with Boruto, and he's trying to absorb it, but he doesn't have the karma, so he can't absorb it. And then he leaves for Code because he's weak or whatever, blah, blah.
Yeah, he's not trying to shrink it.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's all I had on that, though. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't. I think